The space station of Zerath Prime was always full of noise, colors, and movement. Traders shouted over one another, starships came and went, and different alien languages echoed through the wide halls. Travelers from across the galaxy passed through this giant floating hub, either heading to new worlds or returning home. Among the crowds at Dock 47 stood a small group of aliens, 4 Talari. They were no taller than a child, covered in soft blue fur, with large glowing eyes and delicate hands. They wore simple robes and clutched each other tightly. The youngest among them sniffled quietly, hiding her face in her mother's arms. They had been waiting there for hours. Their planet, Virelia, was hosting the Star Bloom Festival, a sacred event that only happened once every 100 years. Flowers across their entire world would bloom in one night, filling the skies with light and sound. It was not just a festival, it was part of their culture, their history, their soul. And yet they couldn't go. The Talari father named Relan held a tiny device in his paw, tapping the screen again and again. "The price increased," he whispered. "We don't have enough credits." His wife, Sela, looked down at their children. "We sold everything we could. It's still not enough." Nearby, humans, Tharkai, and other species boarded sleek shuttles with flashing signs. The destination, Virelia. The festival had become popular in recent years. Tourists, nobles, and rich adventurers all wanted to witness it. That's why the ticket prices had tripled in one day. "No one cares," Sela whispered. "To them, it's just a show." A few other travelers glanced at them, but quickly looked away. No one wanted to get involved. Most thought the Talari were weak, poor, and unimportant. Then someone stopped. A human. He looked to be in his late 20s, wearing a work uniform covered in grease. A patch on his chest read Eli Mercer, Cargo Technician. He had messy hair, tired eyes, and a calm voice. "You okay there?" Eli asked, stepping forward carefully. Relan blinked, surprised. We are trying to go home. But the shuttle price is too high now." Eli nodded, looking up at the digital board. The next flight to Virelia was leaving in 20 minutes. "That's the festival planet, right?" "Yes," Sela replied quietly. "It means everything to us." Eli reached into his pocket. He had just been paid yesterday, and most of it was still there. Not much. He lived in a small bunk and ate station food, but it was enough for the tickets. He had planned to save up for a new toolbox. He glanced back at the Talari children. Without saying anything, he stepped up to the ticket machine, scanned his ID, and selected 5 tickets. A soft beep followed, and 5 glowing passes printed out. He handed them to Relan with a small smile. "Go enjoy the festival," Eli said. "You shouldn't miss that." Relan froze. You don't want payment?" Eli shook his head. "Nah, I've seen enough people suffer. You're not the first." Sela's eyes shimmered. "But you are the first to help." The children looked up at Eli like he was some kind of legend. They had never seen a stranger be kind without asking for something. "We don't have the funds to repay you now, human," Relan said, voice trembling. "But we'll remember this. We'll reward you." Eli smiled and gave a small wave. "Take care. That's all I need." The Talari family hugged him quickly, then rushed toward the shuttle, calling out thanks again and again. The boarding. Doors closed behind them as the shuttle prepared for liftoff. Eli watched until it disappeared into the stars. He didn't expect anything in return. He didn't even tell anyone what he had done. He just returned to his shift, tightening bolts on cargo doors, moving crates with old hover carts, and eating his dinner alone. But in the quiet of that evening, as he stared out the window at the stars, a small warm feeling stayed in his chest. He didn't know it yet, but the galaxy had just shifted, and soon the name Eli Mercer would be known across the stars, not for power, not for war, not for fame, but for a moment of pure human kindness. Days passed on Zerath Prime, and the space station's endless rhythm carried on. Eli Mercer worked his usual shifts, loading and unloading cargo, moving supplies and fixing broken machinery. Life was routine. The station's bright lights and loud noises seemed to blur together. The Tillery family was far away now on their home planet, enjoying the Star Bloom Festival. They were surrounded by glowing flowers and shimmering lights, a world full of color and joy that made Eli's small act feel even more special. Back on Zerath Prime, Eli did not expect any thanks or reward. He had simply done what he thought was right. In the harsh galaxy, kindness was rare. Most beings cared only for themselves, yet sometimes kindness shines the brightest in the darkest places. One evening, as Eli walked home after work, he noticed a small crowd gathered near a market stall. Curious, he moved closer. A Tillari was standing there, speaking softly to the crowd. Eli recognized him immediately. It was Relan, the father from Dock 47. Beside him stood his wife, Sela, and their children, looking happier and healthier than before. Eli's heart lifted. The Tillari had returned to Zerath Prime. Relan raised his voice. "Friends of all kinds, listen. This human, Eli Mercer, helped us when no one else would. He paid for our passage to the Star Bloom Festival without asking for anything in return." The crowd murmured. Some humans looked skeptical. Others nodded slowly. Sela stepped forward. "In return, we want to offer something. Not money, but a promise. We will repay his kindness one way or another." Eli felt a mix of surprise and unease. He never wanted anything back. He just wanted them to be happy. One of the Tillery children ran up to Eli, holding a small glowing stone in her hand. "This is for you," she said shyly. Eli took the stone. It pulsed softly with light, warm and calm. He smiled. "Thank you. It's beautiful." Relan explained. "These are called heartspring crystals. They are very rare on Virelia and hold great power. They can store energy and help with many things, lighting homes, powering machines, even healing some injuries." Eli looked at the small crystal with wonder. "I don't know what to say." "You don't need to say anything," Sela said gently. "Your kindness was enough." From that day, Eli and the Tillari family became friends. Though their worlds were very different, they shared stories, meals, and laughter. Eli learned about Virelia's beauty, the Star Bloom Festival, and the value of community. And the Tillari learned about humans, their struggles, their hopes, and their surprising warmth. The crystal Eli received was not just a gift. It was a symbol. It showed what happens when someone chooses to help without selfishness. At work, Eli noticed something strange. The crystal glowed softly in his pocket, even when he was far from the Tillari. It seemed to react to his feelings, shining brighter when he was hopeful, dimming when he was tired or sad. Curious, he showed it to a friend, a technician named Mara. Mara examined it carefully. "I've never seen anything like this. It's not just a crystal. It stores energy, yes, but it's also linked to emotions. It responds to kindness." Eli laughed. "Sounds like it was made for me, then." Word spread quietly among some of the space station's residents about the strange crystal and the human who helped the Tillari. While most ignored it, a few began to watch Eli with new respect. For once, a human was not seen as a worker or a bystander, but as someone special. But not everyone was happy. In the shadows, some powerful groups saw opportunity. If the heartspring crystals could hold energy and respond to emotions, they might be worth millions in the wrong hands. One cold night, as Eli walked back to his small room, he felt eyes watching him. He quickened his pace, clutching the crystal tightly. He didn't know it yet, but his simple act of kindness was about to change much more than just one family's fate. Life on Zerath Prime was busy and fast. Eli Mercer tried to keep his head down, focusing on his work. The strange crystal the Tillary gave him rested safely in his small bunk, glowing softly now and then. It had become a quiet reminder of that one day when kindness crossed worlds. Days turned into weeks. The Tillari family was still around, working to rebuild their lives on the station. But Eli heard less and less about them. The busy crowd and Endless duties pulled him away from the memory of their gratitude. One morning, Eli arrived at the station's bustling market to find a crowd gathered near the announcement boards. His heart skipped when he saw the familiar blue fur of Rilan and Sela, but the family looked tired, worried. Rilan's voice was firm but heavy with concern. "Friends, the price for travel to Varelia is rising again, more than ever. Many of us cannot afford the tickets. The festival will happen soon and we are still trapped here," the crowd murmured. Some were angry, others helpless. The Teleri were desperate. Eli's mind raced. He remembered how he helped before, but this time he had little extra to give. His life was not easy. His wages were small and bills piled up. Still, Eli stepped forward. "I may not have enough credits for all of you, but I'll help where I can." Sela smiled softly, grateful but uncertain. "We appreciate your kindness, human, but this is bigger than one person." The Tillery children looked up at Eli with hope. He wished he could do more. That night, Eli sat alone in his bunk, staring at the crystal. It pulsed quietly like a heartbeat. He thought about the festival, the joy of the Tillery, and the harsh realities of life on the station. He wished for a way to do more, to help not just one family but many. The next day, Eli heard rumors from his co-workers. The Heartspring crystals were rare, powerful, and highly valuable. Some people wanted to buy them, others to steal them. He realized the crystal he carried was not just a gift, it was a responsibility. Eli shared his thoughts with Mara, the technician who had first examined the crystal. "I want to help more people," he said quietly. "But how? I'm just one person." Mara nodded. "Sometimes it starts with one act. But you need to be careful. There are those who would use this power for wrong." Eli's mind went back to the crowd at the market, the trapped families, the growing need. He knew he could not ignore it. That evening, as he left work, Eli noticed a shadow move near the cargo bay. Two figures dressed in dark uniforms were talking in low voices. When they saw him, they stopped and watched. Eli's heart quickened. He clutched the crystal in his pocket, feeling its warmth. "Who are they?" Mara asked when he told her the next day. "Security officers?" Eli guessed. But something felt wrong. Mara frowned. "You might be right. Some people want to control this crystal's power. We should be careful." Days passed, and Eli kept his guard up. He didn't want to lose the crystal or the trust the Teelery had given him. One morning, Relan came to Eli's workstation. "We have been trying to gather enough for tickets again, but prices keep rising. Many have given up hope." Eli looked at the tired faces around him. He felt a fire grow inside, a desire to do more than just small kindnesses. "I will talk to the station officials," Eli promised. "Maybe we can find a way to make the festival reachable for everyone." Relan nodded slowly. "Thank you, human." That afternoon, Eli visited the station's council office. He spoke clearly, explaining the situation of the Teleri and other small alien groups trapped by high travel costs. Some council members listened, some did not, but Eli's passion surprised many. He said, "We are a galaxy of many species. If only the rich can travel, we lose the chance to learn, grow, and share. The festival is more than a party, it's a symbol of hope." To Eli's surprise, a few council members agreed. They promised to review the prices and find ways to help. Back at Dock 47, the Teleri family and others waited anxiously. A week later, news arrived. Ticket prices had been lowered for a limited time. Grants and aid were being offered to families in need. Relan and Sela smiled. Thanks to Eli, many will go home. Eli felt proud, but also cautious. He knew the fight was not over. Some powerful forces still wanted to control the crystals and the flow of power. As he looked at the glowing Heartspring crystal again, Eli realized his simple act of kindness had started something much bigger. And though he was just one human, among billions his heart was ready. A few weeks after the ticket prices dropped, Eli received an unexpected message. It was from Relan. The Talari father. The message was simple and urgent. Eli, please come with us. There is something important. We want to show you. We owe you more than words. Curious and a little surprised, Eli accepted. He packed a small bag and headed to the meeting point, a quiet docking bay near the station's outer ring. There, a sleek, small starship waited. The Talari family greeted him warmly and helped him aboard. The ship hummed softly, and soon they were flying away from the busy space station into the vast darkness of space. Eli watched through the window as the stars moved past. The journey was long, but the Talari didn't speak much. Their eyes were fixed ahead, as if filled with hope and a secret. After several hours, the ship entered the orbit of a beautiful blue and green world. It was unlike any planet Eli had ever seen. Vast forests stretched below, shimmering with light. Rivers sparkled like silver ribbons. The air seemed to glow softly, and strange flowers floated in the gentle breeze. "Welcome to Virelia," Reland said softly. "Our home." Eli stepped off the ship and took a deep breath. The air was fresh and sweet. He felt calm and alive. The Talari led him through the forest to a large gathering of their people. The Starbloom Festival was in full swing, with lights, music, and laughter all around. Flowers of every color bloomed under the moonlight, lighting up the night like stars on the ground. Eli felt awe. The beauty was beyond anything he had imagined. At the heart of the festival, a tall Talari elder approached him. Her eyes were wise and kind. "Eli Mercer," she said in a voice both gentle and strong, "you are the first outsider to be honored as a soul ally. This title is given once in 1,000 years to those who show pure kindness." Eli was speechless. He had never expected this honor. The elder continued, "We want to thank you properly. Your kindness saved our family and gave hope to many. The Starbloom Festival is a celebration of life, light, and connection. Tonight, you will be one with us." Eli was led to the center of the gathering. The Talari began to chant softly, their voices rising and falling like waves. Around him, the flowers began to glow brighter, their colors shifting with the music. Suddenly, Eli felt a warmth spread through his body. It was like the crystal he carried, but stronger. He looked down and saw that the heartspring crystal was shining brightly. The elder smiled. "The crystal you carry is part of our world's spirit. It connects us, and now it connects you." Eli's heart raced. He felt connected not just to the Talari, but to the planet itself, to the stars, and to something much greater. Over the next days, Eli learned about Virelia's deep bond with nature and energy. The Talari used heartspring crystals to power their homes, heal their people, and protect their forests. But they also told him about the dangers. The crystal's power attracted greed and danger. That was why they rarely shared it with outsiders. Eli understood the responsibility he carried. The kindness he had shown had opened a door to this hidden world. And now, it was his choice how to protect and share what he had been given. Before he left, Reland handed Eli a small pouch filled with more heartspring crystals. "These are not just gifts," he said. "They are trust. Use them wisely." Eli promised to keep their trust and to protect their secret. As his ship lifted off from Virelia, Eli looked back at the glowing forests below. He felt changed, not just by the festival or the crystals, but by the truth that kindness could build bridges between worlds. He knew his life was no longer ordinary. Back on Zerath Prime, Eli returned from Virelia with a sense of purpose stronger than ever. The pouch of heartspring crystals in his bag seemed to hum with quiet energy, as if alive. Every time he touched them, a gentle warmth spread through his fingers. Eli knew these crystals were rare and valuable, but to him, their worth was not in credits or trade. The Talari had given them to him as a symbol of trust and friendship, something far beyond money. The station was a harsh place. Many struggled to live with worn-out equipment, broken lights, and failing life support systems. Eli began to wonder how the crystals could help. One day, Eli took a small crystal to his supervisor, a practical woman named Jara. "Look at this," Eli said, placing the glowing stone on her desk. "This crystal stores energy. It could power systems here, longer and more efficiently than anything we use. Jara raised an eyebrow. Where did you get that? A friend gave it to me, Eli said simply. I want to help fix things. On the station. Skeptical but curious, Jara agreed to test the crystal. In the following days, engineers connected the crystal to a small power grid in one section of the station. To everyone's surprise, the energy lasted for weeks without needing recharge. Lights stayed bright, machines worked smoothly, and the air filters ran better than before. Word spread quickly. Soon, Eli began sharing the heartspring crystals with people who needed help most, repairing broken homes, powering food distribution centers, and running emergency medical equipment. His simple act of kindness had turned into something greater. But Eli did not sell the crystals or use them for profit. Instead, he gave them away freely to those in need. The crystals are not mine to sell, he told Jara one day. They are a gift from a friend. I want them to help everyone, not just those who can pay. Jara nodded slowly. You're not like most people, Eli. You remind me why humanity can be special. At the market and in the crowded halls, Eli became a symbol of hope. People called him the Crystal Keeper, the man who shared light in dark places. But with attention came challenges. Some corporate groups and wealthy traders wanted the crystals for themselves. They sent representatives to ask Eli for a deal, offering large sums of money. Eli refused. I won't let the crystals become weapons or tools for greed, he said firmly. Their power is for helping, not controlling. Behind the scenes, whispers grew. Certain groups began watching Eli closely. One evening, as Eli walked home, a stranger approached him. The stranger's eyes were cold and sharp. We hear you have something valuable, the stranger said. It could be worth a fortune. Eli smiled politely. It's not for sale. The stranger's smile vanished. Think carefully, human. The galaxy runs on power and profit. Your generosity is admirable, but it won't last. Eli didn't answer. He simply walked away. That night he looked at the pouch of heartspring crystals. They glowed softly, like tiny stars. He made a silent promise to protect them. Days turned into weeks, and Eli continued helping as many as he could. The crystals powered community centers, helped hospitals, and brought light to dark corners of the station. The Teleri had trusted him. Now he would not let them down. Slowly, more people began to believe in the power of kindness, inspired by Eli's example. The harsh station began to feel a little warmer, a little more alive. Eli knew this was only the beginning. Life on Zerath Prime was slowly changing thanks to Eli, Mercer, and the Heartspring crystals. Power outages became rare, medical centers ran smoothly, and families in the poorest districts finally had light in their homes. Eli's small acts of kindness had started a quiet revolution, but not everyone was happy. In the dark corners of the space station, whispers of jealousy and greed grew louder. Some powerful corporations and crime groups saw the crystals as a way to gain control over the station's resources. If they could get their hands on these mysterious stones, they would have unmatched power. One evening, Eli was working late in the cargo bay when shadows moved near the crates. Two figures stepped out, tall, dressed in black uniforms that bore no official insignia. We know you have the Heartspring crystals, one said, voice cold and low. Hand them over, and no one gets hurt. Eli's heart pounded, but his voice stayed steady. These crystals belong to the people. I won't give them to you. The second figure smiled cruelly. You don't understand what you're dealing with. We can make your life very difficult. Eli glanced around. He saw no help nearby. But he did not back down. I protect what I believe in, he said firmly. The two men exchanged a look and stepped back into the shadows. This isn't over, the first said. From that night on, Eli knew danger was closer than ever. He increased his caution, always watching, always ready. The crystals were not just gifts now. They were a symbol of hope, but also a target. Despite the threats, Eli refused to stop helping. Each day, he distributed crystals to more places, schools, food centers, and small factories. The light they brought was a spark that kept the community alive. One afternoon, Mara, the technician and Eli's trusted friend, came running to him with urgent news. "There's a meeting of the station's council tomorrow," she said. "They want to discuss the crystals. Some want to seize them, claiming they are dangerous. Others say we should protect Eli and his work." Eli nodded. "Then we need to be ready. I will speak for the people." The next day, the council chamber was packed. Delegates from many species argued fiercely. Some feared the crystal's power could be used as weapons. Others praised Eli's kindness and the help the crystals had given. Eli stood up when it was his turn to speak. "Honorable council members, I am just a simple man. But the crystals I carry are more than energy sources. They are a symbol of trust, friendship, and hope. They represent what humanity can be: kind, strong, and selfless. If we allow fear and greed to control this gift, we lose more than power. We lose our future." His words echoed in the chamber. A silence fell. Then a vote was called. By a narrow margin, the council decided to protect Eli and allow the controlled use of the heartspring crystals for the good of all. Relief washed over Eli, but he knew the fight was far from over. That night, as he walked back to his quarters, he felt the crystal's soft glow in his hand. It was a reminder of what he stood for, a beacon in the darkness. The galaxy was watching, and humanity's true strength was about to shine. The Galactic Council's chambers were vast, filled with representatives from hundreds of worlds. Lau Mercer stood among them, an ordinary human from a small cargo station, now holding a place no one had ever imagined for him. The story of a simple act of kindness had traveled far. The heartspring crystals had become symbols of hope and trust. More importantly, Eli's actions showed the galaxy what humanity truly could be. As he waited for his turn to speak, Eli thought back to that day at Dock 47, when a small alien family stood helpless, unable to afford tickets home. At the time, he had no idea it would lead here. The chair of the council, a tall alien with shimmering silver skin, looked down at him. "Eli Mercer," the chair began, "your kindness and courage have brought new hope to the galaxy. You have reminded us that strength is not only in power, but in compassion." Eli nodded respectfully. "Thank you, honored council members. I am humbled. I am just a human trying to do what is right." The chamber filled with quiet murmurs of approval. Eli continued. "The galaxy is vast and full of different peoples, cultures, and challenges. But one thing unites us all: the desire for peace, hope, and kindness. The heartspring crystals are a symbol of what we can achieve when we trust each other." He paused, then said firmly, "We must remember that true power lies in helping one another, not in fighting or greed." The council listened carefully. Eli's words were simple, but true. After the meeting, many approached him with gratitude and respect. Alliances shifted. Plans changed. For the first time, a human was invited to advise the Galactic Council on matters of peace and cooperation. Back on Zerath Prime, news of Eli's new role spread quickly. The people celebrated not just his honor, but what it meant: that humanity's spirit was recognized among the stars. The Tillery family was proud. Sela sent him a message filled with warmth and thanks. "You showed the galaxy the heart of a human. You gave us a gift greater than crystals. You gave us hope." Eli smiled as he read the message. He thought about the long road, from a small act at Dock 47 to this moment on the grandest stage in the galaxy. But his journey was far from over. With his new position, Eli worked tirelessly to build bridges between worlds. He helped create programs that shared resources, education, and culture across planets. He knew the galaxy was full of challenges, but he believed in the power of kindness to face them. One evening, as he looked out at the stars from the council's observation deck, Eli felt a quiet pride. He was just a human, yes, but he was also a symbol. Proof that even in a galaxy full of power and politics, one person's kindness could change everything. The lights of distant planets twinkled like the heartspring crystals in his pocket. And Eli knew this was only the beginning.